Back on pitch side, and it's been a fantastic day for Pakistan overall. Batting on day one of this test match with the top scorers, the skipper leading from the front, Shan Masood, making that fantastic 151, 177 balls. And he was supported well by Abdullah Shafiq. Much needed runs in that top order for Pakistan. And Pakistan closing the day on 328 for 4. Well, it was a bit of a struggle, a bit of a toil for the England fast bowlers. Not a lot of help on offer in that wicket. But we saw that Gus Atkinson got 2 wickets in the end. And Chris Woakes also chipping in with that 1 wicket. Well, great to be back on pitch side, and it's been a great day for Pakistan overall, winning the toss and really putting runs on the board. This is exactly what they needed. I've got a very, very special guest here with me. The skipper, Shan Masood, joins us alongside Ramiz Raja. A warm welcome to both of you. Shan, well done firstly on your 100, but overall, if we talk about Pakistan's day, exactly as you would have wanted it, you know, winning the toss and then batting first, looking at the conditions, overall a satisfied captain?
I think as a side we speak about the requirement of the situation. When you win the toss and you bat first, we did well against Bangladesh in the first test when we lost the 3 wickets, but Rizwan and Saud had a mammoth partnership. So when me and Abdullah got together and the partnership got to 50 and to 100, we kept talking of if we can have that mammoth partnership, we can set this game up really well and start thinking about how we can sort of dictate the game with the bat. So when you win the toss, you elect to bat first, you can't ask more from the team.
Just on your own performance then as well, I mean, getting that 100, you needed those runs personally as well. There's always been a lot of talk around that top order scoring runs, whether it's Abdullah or you. Just in terms of confidence, how much confidence that would have given you, and what kind of pressure were you really coming out there today with?
Look, obviously there's a responsibility being the leader to get runs, but we always talk about a process and a way of playing. For me, more than me, the biggest satisfaction for me is Abdullah Shafiq. We talked about a squad mentality, we talked about giving people consistent chances, and for him to take all that pressure of not scoring runs in the last few test matches and coming up, losing his opening partner and still delivering 100. He's only in his early 20s, that speak big volumes. So as a leader, it's never been about me or my runs. It's more about how can we go forward as a team. The way we played, the way we put some scoreboard pressure on them, we made sure that we kept running hard, we made sure that we scored at 4.5s and 5s. That's an important thing, because if we would have just set up shop and tried to defend our way through the day, I don't think we would have had 324 on the board. That's
an important point that he makes, Ramiz, that it's also the scoring rate that we're talking about. Pakistan generally showed better intent. We keep talking about that, you know, the new way of test cricket, modern day test cricket, and we saw that with Shan and Abdullah batting out there.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, Shan. It's a terrific innings under pressure. The other thing is about your throw. I mean, you sound extremely weak, and for the first time we saw you suffer from exhaustion also, but you know, that's the lighter part of your knock. But the great thing about your innings and about that partnership was how easily you were able to find the gaps and did justice to when it comes to running between the wickets. That was the other salient feature regarding that partnership, and putting the bad balls away. This was important as well, and you seemed to blossom when the spinners came on to board. Was that the plan, to attack them more and play the first part as safely as possible against the new ball?
Look, I think with the way the match was set up, they were obviously going to be a threat with the new ball with Chris Woakes. And we felt when we got out of that period with about 50 runs in the first 10 and the spinner came on, that's a time if you can get the spinners away, you change the way they bowl. It's still the first innings, the ball doesn't turn as much. Yeah. So you try and look for runs as much as possible. I know that when the game changes and you go into days 3, 4 and 5, there's a different way to play spin, but on a first day wicket, when you've had a good start, that's where you have to cash in.
So what were happening to you when you were on 30? Were you fearing for the worst, and then the 40 and a 50?
Ramiz, from 30, still the 100. I was trying not to give anything away, because I've been very guilty of getting to those 30s, those 40s and 50s, and not carrying on. So I think today I had that responsibility. When I played that pull shot of Atkinson, I had my heart in my mouth. I said nothing before 100, so I tried my best that let's get to 100, let's get that big score, and then we can take it from there.
Of course.
You scored that 150, and of course that's a great, fantastic performance by you, but you still looked disappointed in the end with the way you got out.
Test match runs don't come by every day. Every opportunity you get, I mean, you saw how hard we had to work in this weather to get those runs. And I thought that was a soft dismissal, and I have to raise my hand. And you have to get better. You can never rest your laurels, and for me now, it's not giving a soft one away and making sure that I'm contributing to the team.
So the other question I guess to ask is that, you know, Pakistan's performance of late in the second innings has been a bit iffy and dodgy. Were you thinking when you were batting that to make it count in the first innings and not allow Pakistan that chance to upset themselves or yourself?
I'm never going to look at it in terms of being scared of something or fearing something. That is something we've pointed out as a team, that we need to improve our second innings, the way we bat. But whenever you get an opportunity, whenever you get set, I think the onus is on you to make sure you get a big score so you can make the match easier for yourself rather than making it difficult every time.
Sure.
All right, just now in terms of the game plan, of course, Pakistan is still batting out there. Is it premature to ask what kind of target that you're looking at? I mean, you got 400, well, nearly 450 runs.
448 for 6, and they'll declare the innings again, I'm sure.
Exactly. So just on that, like any rough figure, or is it really about sort of taking it session by session?
Look, we've still got Rizwan, Aqas Salman and Amir Jamal to come in. So we have to take it session by session. I think the way even Saud and Babar played after getting set initially, after having assessed conditions, they were scoring quite freely once they got set in. So the message to the batsman would be assess the conditions, be your best judge, and make sure that we're scoring off any scoring opportunities we get.
All right, I'm just going to thank you now, because I'm sure those limbs are extremely tired and you probably need an ice bath and just sort of need to unwind, and much deserved rest as well. Of course, tomorrow awaits us as well. We'll take a short breather. When we do come back, we'll be looking at key moments of the day. We're back on pitch side, and Pakistan has dominated the first day's proceedings. I've now been joined by David Gower in the studio. David, a bit of a struggle for England overall when you look at their bowlers. Not much in that wicket, but they got the all-important wicket of Babar Azam in the end. So some positive to come out of today's.
Well, I'd say the positive from that is they kept going. Because you imagine these guys, have come from an English summer, which we use that term very loosely this year. I mean, a week or 10 days ago, it was raining, it was cold, it was horrible. So actually very nice to come to a climate that's much warmer. But for them, it was a question of stamina, a test of stamina, and also working out conditions. As you say, a very, very flat pitch. I mean, very little happened really with either new ball, just little bits with the new balls. 2 balls turned all day of any notice from Shoaib Bashir. So it's always going to be one of those days where in the field, you knew you're going to be working hard. So I'd give England credit for keeping going throughout the day, but you quite rightly say Pakistan have had a really good day. 2 men making hundreds, a really good start to the series for them.
And the tone was set at the top by Shan Masood as well as Abdullah Shafiq. I mean, Shan Masood rightly came here and he sort of gave credit to Abdullah Shafiq in saying that, he's really happy for him. Again, somebody, Ramiz, who showed promise at the start of his career, but then couldn't really back it up with performances. So good to see him score some runs.
Yes, he's had few technical issues. And obviously, on a pitch like this, you shouldn't be having any technical issues, which Abdullah Shafiq didn't have. I mean, he was rock solid in his defense, played extremely well off the back foot, and he was imaginative as well against Spain. He was positive, getting to a 50 with a 6, getting to 100 with a 6, stamping his authority on a flat surface. And so if your top order is in order, then obviously batting becomes that much more easier. And runs in the first innings are critical. We know Pakistan can fumble in the second innings of late. That has been the pattern. So they need to get maximum number of runs. Babar Azam was a sad loss because Babar Azam looked good. And tomorrow would have been a great treat for the audience, for the fans, but not to be. So overall, I think Pakistan would be pretty satisfied. that, you know, to get a 300 plus on an opening day when their batting has struggled against, for example, Bangladesh and against Australia and Australia, this is a very, very good beginning.
A tired-looking shot to get out in the end for Abdullah Shafiq, which was overall, if you look at it, a fantastic innings, and it would give him a lot of confidence. When you're down in confidence and not able to score runs that we've seen in the last few series by him, it always helps to score 100 or 2.
Oh, it makes an absolutely huge difference. I mean, the one thing we all know, having played the game, is that if your confidence is high, the game just seems easier. And if you've had a run of poor scores, it gets harder and harder and harder until you have that magic day where things just click into place. I mean, the shot at the end, we'd seen both of them actually suffering from cramp. The shot at the end was a bit of a gentle mistiming. You can call it tired, it might just be a question of balance. I mean, he's just played out a foot or so in front of himself the first time all day. I mean, he'd let the ball come to him so well up until that moment and had played the ball under his eyes so often so well. But yes, that will make a big difference to him personally, to the side in general, because one of the things that any side wants is a good start to any innings. I mean, Ramis has just mentioned the second innings. Well, if they can put together a good start again between that top three and the second innings, if needed, let's put that in front of you as well. If needed, then of course that'll be another tick in another box.
Well, it was also a great opportunity for somebody like Babar Azam to score runs. You know, it's an ideal wicket for him, but just sort of lost his wicket in the last few overs of the day.
I don't know whether it's lapse in concentration or whether he's suffering from a confidence crisis, because he seems to negotiate the first part of 30 or 40 innings that he's been delivering of late quite well. But then he gets a little bit uptight and the flow goes missing. And this was plumb actually, so played all around it. Second new ball, he had to tighten up. That front foot doesn't really go down the crease. I think that's been a real issue for Babar Azam. You know, when he's striding forward, it's not a full jump forward at the ball. He sort of remains in the crease and plays with hard hands, trying to get to the pitch or trying to get to the ball. And so in the end, it was a bit of a disaster because you needed Babar Azam to start the second day with a bit of flourish. And he would have attracted a lot of crowd in because, as we all know, he's crowd's favourite.
I mean, for Wokes, though, it was a classic 1-2. The ball before had beaten him outside off stump was a beauty, absolute beauty. And then the correct decision, stick it fuller, try and get it to come back in just enough to beat the bat. So you can imagine, I mean, I can certainly imagine for Chris Wokes at the end of a day like that, where up until that moment he's wicketless, that's a big relief to get that wicket.
All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time, because we've still got to come back tomorrow and do our jobs. We've got day 2, which is lined up for you for tomorrow. Plenty of action today. Pakistan dominating today's proceedings completely, with Abdullah Shafiq and Shan Masood chipping in with runs. And our coverage tomorrow, day 2 of this test match, will be starting off at 9:25 a.m. Fantastic day overall, great action and entertainment that we saw from Pakistan, lots of boundaries, but today is yet another day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's coverage. We'll see you tomorrow. From now, it's goodbye.